nothing has come close so far to delivering on what we promised Nigerians, which is the disappointing part in terms of my assessment of President Asuwaju.
Okay.
I had very high rating of President Asuwaju, but to be honest, his performance in the last 2 years has betrayed whatever expectation I had of him.
Okay, on that note.
So guys, while the Tinubu's government is celebrating that they've been able to make politicians to defect from other parties and join the APC, guess what? The Northerners are planning massively against Tinubu. This is an APC chieftain, and listen to the tone of what he said in this video. That will tell you that many people are angry with the Tinubu's government, and still they don't even realize it. Many people are so disappointed. Look at where we are as a country today, and they are celebrating that people are defecting. Anyway, I'm going to allow you to listen for yourself what this APC chieftain has got to say about Tinubu and how the North, I mean the coalition to oust Tinubu out of office is nothing that is being hidden anymore, meaning they are out. Don't forget that Malami, the former AGF, has come out to slam those who are endorsing Tinubu for 2027. You can imagine Malami that worked with Buhari is now against, those who are endorsing Tinubu for 2027. That's to tell you that many of the Northerners are not happy with Tinubu, and still they don't even know what is happening. Now, you have seen that the North is now embracing the person of Peter Obi. But let me take you to this headline on Twitter, and it says, Premium Times posted this: Tinubu requests National Assembly's approval to borrow $21.5 million, 65 million euros, and 15 billion yen. Tinubu is still going and borrowing. Guess what? Nigerians are reacting. So people are saying they want to take this money for 2027. They want to borrow this money for election. You need to listen for yourself. If you watch the interview from Elisha Abu, that he was accusing the APC on how they use Nigerian people's money to run election. That alone will shock you. In short, you need to take your time and watch this video. Also, a Northerner came out to leak a secret saying that somebody who is defecting to the APC said he wants to defect because he doesn't want EFCC wahala, that they want to use the EFCC to pursue him, and because he doesn't have time for that stress, it's better he defects. So guys, a whole lot is happening. Let me allow you to take a look at what this Northerner who is also an APC chieftain has got to say. Take your time, watch this video, don't forget to subscribe. Now take a look.
Now, in the communique that was issued, the Northern leaders are saying, industrialization in the North, they will support whoever will promote Northern interests and all of that. And then, of course, within that atmosphere, it was an anti-Tinubu, anti-APC gathering. But speaking personally, I don't think Tinubu is the problem of the North. The problem of the North are the Northern leaders themselves. But the objective of saying that the North needs to be moved forward and that issues of interest to the North need to be addressed, those are important issues. What do you think is the way forward? Or do you agree with those who think Tinubu is the problem of the North?
Well, thank you, Dr. Bati. First, I think let's get it very clear. This initiative, the National Political Consultative Group, the Northern Group, is an initiative which has been ongoing, and in terms of the focus is to do everything possible to unite political leaders in the North. And it didn't just start today. We've been working on it for almost a year now. And the Sunday meeting is the second expanded meeting. Before the expanded meetings, we've had series of meetings, consultation with political leaders in terms of how to organize ourselves, how to even begin to position ourselves to evaluate what are really the challenges. We can assume we know the challenges, and many people approach it from different perspectives. So the issue of how we get consensus around what are the challenges and how do we begin to engage them, inform the approach to the meeting itself, which is why the last meeting, the main focus was on the issue of insecurity. Before the last meeting, I think 2 weeks ago, we had another expanded meeting, which was the first expanded meeting. That one had a general approach in terms of reviewing the political challenges facing the North. And in all of it, you know, like you've highlighted in terms of what is captured in the resolutions, I mean, where the North stand is not, nobody can say we are happy with what we have presently. And therefore, what we do to get out of it is fundamentally the issue. We are not passing the buck. We are not, the issue of Asuwaju or anybody in government is fundamentally secondary. The fundamental issue is what are we going to do in the first place in order to have a complete new orientation to the business of politics and business of governance. And in terms of all of that, of course, you highlighted it's not just the question of industries. One of the things we said we are going to do, we are going to have like a kind of blueprint committee that will sit down and look at what needs to be done and put them almost like a development plan, on the basis of which we will use it to engage our governments at the state level in all the 19 states of the northern region and begin to address some of the key issues which, I mean, it's beyond commentary now. You know, whether you talk of out-of-school children, you talk of poverty, you talk of all the indices that now have become embarrassing in terms of the situation facing the North. There is that commitment to attempt, I mean, to try and do things differently. I think this is the clarification which need to be made from the beginning. So when we talk of, for instance, moving forward, adopting a party, we are not looking at a situation where we have another party that will come and continue business as usual, culture of imposition of candidate, and when people get elected, they are unaccountable. That's not the objective. The objective is to ensure we have a complete new template whereby people will be elected, and after election, they will be accountable both to the party and to the citizens.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And I'm really glad you touched on the issue of how candidates are chosen within party structures, because I know you've been extremely vocal about your position where you feel that, you know, the president and various other, even the governors, lawmakers shouldn't be given automatic tickets. They shouldn't be just be given endorsements. However, when President Buhari was going for his second term, he was a beneficiary of these automatic tickets and endorsements as well. So are you saying that this model was a mistake? Was it the wrong thing to do to give him the automatic ticket? Because that's is your issue with an automatic ticket for President Tinubu and those currently in office at the moment? Because it seems you have a bigger qualm with this issue.
My sister Wimbai, that it has happened in the past does not make it right. And I think that is the starting point. We must acknowledge if mistake is committed, it's a mistake. I think the main issue is that we must have a strategy that humbly lead us and challenge them to deliver. You know, and when they don't deliver, we should be citizens, including party members, should have the right to pass judgment on them. That is fundamentally what democracy is all about. Once you take that out of democracy, then democracy loses its essence. In fact, the whole essence of struggling against military rule, will be defeated. if at the end of the day, this is all that you are going to have and will continue to rationalize it. And which is why for many of us, in terms of all of this thing, we keep making the point. We are not looking for a political party simply because we want to defeat President Asuwaju. No. We are looking for a political party because we want to ensure that we give a new orientation to that party and we return the old politics whereby party leaders are truly the leaders of the party and elected officials are accountable to the party leaders. So, which is why we are taking all the time to negotiate it, and ensure that by the time we come out, and very soon, all this phase will be concluded. And by the time we come out, Nigerians will see, yes, this is truly a new approach to the business of organizing politics and a new approach to the business of competition to bring out candidates. Because once internally inside a political party, you don't allow competition to take place, then the capacity of that party to participate in wider national competition will be weak. And at the end of the day, you are almost setting yourself up for issues, things like rigging, So we want to ensure that anybody, which is why our position, many of us in the coalition negotiation, are insisting that everybody must come ready. We are not talking about candidate now, but for you to become a candidate, you must be ready to contest internally within the party. And the decision of party members will be the determining factor in terms of whether you will be candidate or not. We are not going to set ourselves up in a situation whereby we end up replicating the old mistake and riding on only the frustration of Nigerians to defeat incumbents. No, I think, and we must appeal to Nigerians to also challenge us to remain focused in that, so that the whole question of democracy is broadened beyond the issue of just fielding candidates. We must come back to the situation whereby beyond fielding candidates, after people win election, they are accountable. And the party should have the capacity to discipline leaders. I mean, look at what is going on in PDP, for instance. When one individual has become almost more than the party itself, and the party is so weak that it's unable to contain such a person. So long as we don't correct that kind of issue from the beginning, we are going to set ourselves up and end up presenting Nigeria with another disappointment.
Real quickly, I'd like to ask this. The bigger question will be, who will concede for another? I know you will say, we have not gone into that part of the conversation yet. But is there a possibility, a remote possibility, that this coalition group will move the way of a southern candidate?
No doubt. I mean, first, let me tell you, Mr. Rufai, the question of conceding, once you start talking of conceding, it means you are now even projecting that election will not take place within the party. The most fundamental issue is that election must take place, and whoever has majority followership should be the person that will be fielded by the party. Now, of course, the other issue, which is around the question of equity, which is the last point you are making around the question of southern candidate, that is the turn of the South to spend another 8 years. All those are issues that we can tell Nigerians that internally, in terms of negotiating the rule of the party, we'll make sure that those are addressed and factored in. But at the end of the day, whatever rule we are going to put in place will not be such that will undermine the right of party members to participate. These are very delicate situations. But fundamentally, at this preliminary stage, what we are telling everybody in the coalition is that, please, first and foremost, drop your ambition. Let's focus in building the party first. Because if we don't do that, people with ambition will now want to take over the structures of the party, and at the end of the day, they will now want to put their surrogates as leaders of the party, and will end up going back to where we are coming from. So, really, first thing first, this is the position for all of us. Let's get the party right, and let's ensure the party has the right leadership which is not going to be have the kind of outlook of being surrogate to aspiring candidates. Leaders who can look at everybody. I mean, for instance, I have said that several times, and you will recall, Mr. Rufai, a national chairman should have the profile of the president, so that the national chairman, if the president is doing things that is wrong, can walk up to the president and say, Mr. President, this is not right. This is what should be done. You know, you cannot allow a situation where a potential presidential candidate will put his surrogate as the national chairman of the party. And that surrogate will end up becoming part of the protocol team of the president, escorting the president to the airport when he is traveling, or being at the airport to be part of the reception team. That cannot be a national chairman of a party. So also, all members of the National Working Committee, for instance, must be people of standing, so that they will not be so carried away by the desperation to become ministers or appointees of government. I mean, these are things, they are very difficult, but they are being negotiated. The first test of whether we are getting it right will be in the caliber of the leadership of the party that will be presented after we conclude the negotiation.
Okay, I would like to ask you, when you resigned from the APC in 2024, you had said, oh, there was lack of internal democracy in the APC. That same APC that you left, when you look back now, do you regret doing so? Because this is the same APC that people are dissolving into from other political parties. And they have even said in your own zone of Nigeria that Tinubu is a man. And then, of course, the logical question, it will be 2 years on May 29, 2 days from now, that President Tinubu assumed office on the basis of the renewed hope agenda. What will be your assessment of his scorecard?
Well, on the first one, Dr. Bati, you know, that people are dissolving into APC. I mean, my response is simple. Many of those going into APC are doing so out of selfish interests. They are not doing so out of the overriding interests of their constituents or the citizens of Nigeria. And largely, it's also a reflection of the fact that there are no alternative in terms of availability of parties, you know. Everybody, most of those, including governors, which is the shocking part for me. For me, when you see a governor decamping going to APC simply because he wants to guarantee second term, my simple analogy is that that person may be first unqualified to be holding such a position, because once you are a governor, the Constitution has guaranteed you certain privileges which for life you will continue to enjoy. And those things were given largely because so that you now concentrate in terms of service delivery. You provide selfless service without fear of losing anything, you know. But here we are with people who clearly don't merit that kind of consideration which the Constitution of the Federal Republic has provided. Now, to your second question about the scorecard of President Tinubu and APC government for 2 years, I mean, it's predictable if anybody, based on my even previous writing, nothing has changed. from almost 2 months after the coming of Asiwaju, when I saw the wrong step, you remember one of the first open letter I wrote to him was disturbing signals, raising alarm about how he is getting it wrong. And subsequently, I made the point that renewed hope had become renewed anger, so much so that people are agitated all over the place, you know, and being an insider, I was there and I have read the Renew Hope document. I campaign on the basis of it. I can say I'm well informed in terms of the content of the Renew Hope promises we have made. Nothing has come close so far to delivering on what we promised Nigerians, which is the disappointing part in terms of my assessment of President Asiwaju.
Okay.
I had very high rating of President Asiwaju, but to be honest, his performance in the last 2 years has betrayed whatever expectation I had of him.
Okay, on that note.
You're going to now talk about funding. Once you talk about coalition, the first thing that happens is that everybody watches his resources or her resources. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is possible there's something I don't know that's going to lead to a wonderful coalition. But if you're talking about access to state power, most of those in the coalition are too comfortable, have groomed themselves in the last 25 years on political conspiracy, which can only work within enclosures. A coalition like the type the APC did, they worked for it. The ACN and the CPC did. They worked for it. They went around. They were on the ground. They were not busy moralizing. The moralizing element was to stigmatize the PDP as bad in order to take power from it. Now, that level of sophistication and strategizing is not happening.
Right. But obviously, things can move in a slightly different direction. I mean, history doesn't always repeat itself exactly because there are too many variables that make it sort of different. But do you think, if you're looking at what happened in 2023, for example, with Atiku and Obi collectively getting almost double the votes that Tinubu got, do you think Atiku and Obi, as they try to forge some kind of alliance, I mean, I don't know the extent of it, or coalition or whatever, have what it takes to bring this country together from north and south in 2027? Or will their coming together potentially breed further resentment and divisions between north and south, depending on who takes preeminence?
See, if they're able to come together,
a
practical impossibility as far as I'm concerned, but I'm speculating now. Let's assume hypothetically that they come together. Peter has substantial following in the north at certain levels, but he does not have legs on the ground. So it's Atiku that can put the legs on the ground to garner those votes. Peter has wide national support, so does Atiku. If two of them were to come together, it's likely that they will swing the vote.
But how will they come together? In what capacity?
That's what I'm leading up to.
Okay.
And that's why I started by saying that I don't see that happening. Is Peter going to join the PDP? The answer is no. Is Atiku going to join the, what do you call it?
Labour
Party? The answer is no. Now you're assuming Atiku decides to join the Labour Party. Is he going to be president? If he's going to be presidential candidate, the obedience will say no. If Peter is going to PDP, that will annoy a lot of people who are lining up to be vice president. So let me put the fact the way I say it. There is not going to be any form of coalition, conversation, conspiracy, discussion and negotiation that will bring Peter Obi and Atiku together to run on one ticket. I don't see that happening. Assuming it's to happen, there's the possibility, very probably likelihood, that two of them, their votes together could pull off some magic. But moving out of the realm of speculation, there's nothing to talk about.
But what do you think the point then is of this coalition, which they're investing their time and energy into?
There is no coalition. Let me give you an example. Now, when the SDP was formed, you know, it was the old SDP, it was reformed. Some of us were invited to the meetings, and a lot of conversation was going on. All the big politicians were there. So after the first meeting, second meeting, you know the late John Ode, who was a Minister for Information?
Yes, I know.
He called me up. He said that, okay, that meeting, they are going for, they are talking about you. I say, no, I'm not going to get into any political. They say, yes. Well, I say, how is he going at your end? And I hope I'm not misrepresenting him. He said, my brother. Wike called all of us who went for that meeting. I said, let me not see your leg there again. So we asked about so and so person. He said, no. You know, everybody has to attend these meetings to hear what others are saying, to know whether it's serious. I said, but they're experienced politicians. They know nothing will come of this. He said they know, but they will keep coming until it's not happening. Because as they are coming, they are not making concessions. And I'll cite one example on that attempted coalition. You know, the first planned press briefing of that initiative, you know, a date was fixed and time. I told somebody who was close, 2 or 3 other people, I said, let's see who will bring money for that press briefing. You know, it had to be cancelled, postponed 2 times, 3 times. So there are so many things. It's easy to talk in the media about coalition, but also the people you're planning against, are they sleeping? The APC is one of the most, its capacity for meandering is legendary. And you think it's by making speeches you displace them. It's also an incumbent government. It's not laid back like the government he took over from, and all of that. So if you're going to really say to yourself, oh, I'm going to do this, then what it translates into is that you're going to also be capable of strong strategic engagement. Evidence of that is not there. There is no mobilization of party members. There's no strengthening of party machinery. There's no negotiation across parties. Big men are discussing. After discussing, they go to their houses. Ask yourself, I ask myself, Atiku has gone for a meeting, P2B has gone for a meeting, Garba Shehu has gone from SDP, and they've talked about coalition. When they go back, is there a drill down, by which I mean you now call your own internal party meeting, this is the outcome of this thing.
Yes.
Cascade this down to the state region, cascade it to the state and the local government. That's how parties work. That's not how it's working.
Right.
So that template of, oh, when is election time, we give people money, that's still and that's why I say they are coasting. They belong to a generation that needs to be scaled off for fresh air to come in.
Right.
The mode of doing politics has been that of determine what to spend, where to spend it, close to election. You are not even campaigning. You're not even using your performance to work, to make people feel you should be the next person. And when you think about it, that's the issue on the table.
Right. They would argue, though, that it's not campaign season yet, that what they're doing is laying the groundwork for what will then happen when that season comes. But beyond that, I mean, do you, as somebody who is a well-respected political analyst, do you feel positive about what is happening in Nigerian politics currently as a result of what you're seeing in, number one, the ruling party and the opposition camps as well? I mean, do you frame it as sort of forward-looking, or are you wary?
Looking forward, I'm concerned. The alacrity, I use the word, which people are flying into the APC, has generated a lot of rumors concerning their reasons. But besides the reasons, there are other issues to consider. A glut will occur. As you're coming into the party, those who are there before you are already planning your destruction, because you're coming to take some space. So it will soon become unattractive even within the APC itself. You have too many big animals in the room, so some things are bound to get broken. That's number one. Number two, the spate of, if you like, defections is creating the illusion or the mistaken impression that is because of wonderful performance. I want to join the winning team. Nobody is fooled. That's not the reason for some of them. Some have looked around them and considered that, look, for re-election, I better join this big train. This tricycle we're driving, the train will run over it, so let's board the train. That is the other angle. The third and most disturbing is the fact that the quality of coalition is deteriorating every day. And you find the opposition, quality of opposition rather, complaining that it's the dominant party that's destabilizing them. That is quite possible. But when you say that, you admit incompetence, you admit lack of strategy, you admit inability, to contest appropriately. If you're going into a fight, you say you want to be a professional boxer, now we prepare for it. We get into the ring, I throw a punch, you say, no, imagine that punch was too hard. Did you enter the ring to fight? Yes. So the opposition actually, by its own reactions and some of the observations, you recall that Atiku once said that, oh, they are trying to destabilize the party, that they gave 50 million or something like that. You know, it was in the news. Now, assuming that is true, what does that tell you? What kind of wretched party do you have? First, that can be destabilized from outside. It means there's no internal cohesion. Second, that all it will take is 50 million, not dollars, not 500 million. 50 million naira to what kind of party? Is that a town union?
We've got about a minute left or so, which is a bit unfortunate. But in terms of the ruling party politically going forward, I mean, do you think that, what do you think of their strategy? Is it all about mobility from the opposition to the APC? Is that essentially what it is, the defection sort of wave of defections?
What I suspect, what I sense in the air is progressive denudation of the other parties, drawing away their members, crippling them politically, and infiltrating whatever is left of them to also make them ineffectual and ineffective. Right. That is what it's going, that's what's emerging progressively, because you can't speak of very exceptional performance. You also can't speak of all the issues that have been, you see all conversations today about 2027 and re-election. Is that the core problem on the table for the nation today? No. Now you look at the ruling political elite, the various factions, their concerns is also how to find accommodation in the emerging or what will likely emerge. Therefore, governance suffers at the moment. And what the APC has to watch out for is undue optimism and triumphalism.
Right.
It may create the illusion, oh, just like the PDP, after I said it was going to be around for 60 years, it got thrown out. To throw the APC out will take hell on earth. Because you have determined, look, let's be
very brief. We've got 20 seconds.
Yes,
Sorry.
the man who is president today, everybody was sure he won't get the APC ticket. Absolutely sure. I was sure. I was on this show. He got it. We were sure he would lose. Now, everything possible was done, forbidden, and all of that, and he became president. Now he's president and in power. You think he will sit down, eating amala, and watch himself thrown out if he could do all he did to come in? So the opposition has to stop playing games, really. They need to wake up and become strategic or pass away.
On that note, I want to thank you very much.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. Honestly, these are the things we are talking. Now, I'm just going to take you through some of the reactions coming from Nigerians after it was announced that the Tinubu's government is going a borrowing. Nigerians are like, what? How many times borrowing under 2 years? Just 2 years in office. You know, Nigerians are like, what is happening? What is happening? Honestly, what is happening in Nigeria? Let me take you through some of the reactions. This one say, I said it. This month no fee end, make Tinubu no borrow something. The month no fee end, make Tinubu no borrow something. And this other one say, all of this for what? Children's Day celebration. Is it what they are borrowing this money for? This person said, I hope we are borrowing from I hope we are borrowing from North Korea, so if we can't pay, we'll just prepare for third world war. He was saying that if we borrow from North Korea and we can't pay, just get ready for war. The North Korean leader has his nukes, he's ready to finish everybody. And this other person said this government is all about fraudulent actions and so deceitful. Thought they said all loans are paid. They robbed Peter to pay Paul. Another person said, another loan? What happened to the trillions borrowed before? Or is this the renewed borrowing agenda? This one is saying, we are borrowing 65 million euros, bro. This amount club spent on 21-year-old star from Spain. Oh, star from Spain. Oh my God. This person say, I need the APC Yoruba to answer this question. What happened to all the billions in revenue declared by custom? This thing, it makes sense. This thing makes sense. What happened to, oh my God, to all the money they say custom? Considering how APC claims the economy is growing and the stability, what is all this borrowing for? Oh my God! Recently they came out to declare let me say, the revenue from custom and all that, where are those money going? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.